joining us on another edition of The Coaches Show with the head football coach of North Carolina A&T, Sean Gibbs. I'm Donald Ware, play-by-play voice for North Carolina A&T football. Up next for the Aggies, Hampton. CAA play begins on Saturday. We're at Truist Stadium. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff. Come on out to see the Aggies take on the Hampton Pirates. And as a matter of fact, if you're not able to attend the game, you can join us for the pregame show beginning at 6:30 p.m. on the Aggie Sports Radio Network, 103.5 FM, 1400 AM, as well as TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com, and on Sirius XM Channel 384 this week. Tough game for A&T in the loss to UCF, 68-7, as we're joined by Sean Gibbs, the head football coach of the Aggies. What's going on, Coach Gibbs?
Not much. Blessed. Happy to be here.
Yeah, me too, man. Your thoughts? A tough loss to Central Florida.
Yeah, really tough loss. You know, it was embarrassing to get beat like that, and then we had some costly injuries. So, you know, it was a great atmosphere, great opportunity for our guys to play on a different stage, great platform for them to showcase their abilities. But I didn't come out of there very happy.
Yeah. You're right. What happened with Braxton? He I know he was injured with the shoulder and so forth, but what actually happened on the play that led to the injury?
Well, he dislocated his elbow. He was getting tackled and tried to brace himself, and his elbow dislocated on the fourth play of the game. Champ came in, and I think he was in for 14 plays, and he dislocated his elbow. Whew. And then we brought in Jair, and he ended up breaking his collarbone, but most people didn't know that he was injured because he played the majority of the game with a broken collarbone. So, you know, we got 3 guys that were injured in one game, and a game that's, you know, really meaningless. It's not a conference game or playing anybody on our level. It's I guess what we consider a good check. But in the grand scheme of things, is it really worth it? Are they really paying us? They got players on their team that they pay more than they paid us to come down there. And think about that.
Right.
They pay their quarterback more than they paid us to bring a whole team down there and play. So is it really worth it for us? I don't know. I think we probably need to rethink some of these money games and understand that, you know, before when we played these money games, before the house settlement and all that, we had 63 scholarships that we could spread over 85 people, and they had 85 full scholarships. That's the way it was. Well, now with this house settlement, now they can give 105 guys a scholarship, so they could get 105 scholarship-worthy players, but we stayed at the same. So the gap's gotten bigger, and we're still playing these games, and I don't know if the money's worth it.
Wow. No, it's a good point. Let me ask you this, because that obviously when you're talking about UCF, you're talking about at a Power 4 level. Would you still be open to playing FBS opponents or the Group of 5, as it were?
No, absolutely. I'm open to playing anybody. What I'm saying, though, is we need to get our worth. If you're going to play North Carolina A&T and you want us to come down there, we're worth more than what we got paid.
Right.
You know, if you're paying your starting quarterback more than you paying our team to come down there, then we're not getting our value. So we'll play anybody. I just think we need to be strategic about it and get our worth. And that's not just A&T. That's a whole lot of HBCUs where to me, it seems like we take what they give us and we're happy to have it rather than negotiating with our power, because we're a name and people want to see us and that we're known. They know our band. They know our product. So I'm just saying let's make it worth our while. Because we're going to spend $100,000 just on a flight going down there.
Right.
So that chips into the money.
Right.
So, you know, just make it worth our while. Now, if we're going to play money games, I definitely don't mind playing. I think we got Georgia State next year, somebody like that. But when you go play these Power 4 schools, understand the discrepancy in resources is enormous.
Right. Right. Understood. Have you ever been in a game where You had 3 quarterbacks that were injured, or whether it's playing in a game, coaching in a game, etc. 3 quarterbacks that were injured in one football game?
No, not that I can recall. And that's always the fear. People say the fear of playing those games against those Power 4 opponents is getting people hurt, and it happened to us. But I mean, honestly, I think those were kind of like freak injuries. I mean, 2 guys dislocate their elbow falling, trying to brace themselves. The third injury with the freshman quarterback Zaire, that was a legit getting hit and somebody falling on you. I can see that happening. But the other 2 were it was kind of freaky.
What do you take away? What are some of the positives, right? Like I know Shameik Blizzard, who's going to join us, as a matter of fact, a little bit later on, the running back. He had a 44-yard run, 17-yard touchdown run on the same drive. What do you take positive away from this game?
Well, we got guys like Blizz that can make plays against really good opponents that we're going to fight to the very end. So it was a lot of positives. But, we also got a lot of improvement to make. Like Blizz can, instead of a 44-yard run, we need 60, 70-yard touchdowns. So that's stuff that we got to make sure we're practicing. And we get in practice and we get a chance to run 70 yards, that we're hitting it and preparing for that situation. So everything is something that you can learn from. Now I think that a guy like Blizz has seen that I can make plays against the best competition. So when we get in the CAA play, you should understand and have that confidence that, you're as good as anybody out here, so just go play.
Boy, I tell you, you got a good situation in the running back room. J.T. Smith plays for the first time, did really, really well. Just talk about how he played, the impact he made against Central Florida.
Yeah, like I said, and I've been saying, we got 4 good running backs, 4 really good running backs. And so, we're giving all 4 of them a chance to play. Now, what I would like is for somebody to really separate themselves in that room. That's the way I like to play ball. But right now, those guys are even. So, somebody needs to try to separate themselves. And if they can separate from that group, then we know we got a really good All-American type running back. But right now it's running back by committee. All 4 guys deserve to play. And all 4 guys have done a good job of making plays. And they all bring something different. So that's the thing about it. We can bring in a guy that can really hit a long play, a home run like Blizz. We can pound the ball with Wesley. Hicks is another home run threat, and JT is kind of a do-it-all guy. So, we got some good running backs. So we're going to have to lean on them heavy on Saturday. We're going to need all 4 of them to show up.
As mentioned, Shameik Blizzard is going to join us a little bit later on in the program, as will punter DJ Page. He's got 4 punts for 50-plus yards, which is tied for the lead in the CAA. Back to the quarterback situation, because, you've got 4 potential starting quarterbacks that are injured right now. Ever been in – I asked you about the situation with 3 in a game, but 4 in a season. And of course, you may have some guys that come back. But, at this particular moment, you got 4 starting quarterbacks that are injured.
5
starting. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Kevin White broke his leg in the spring. Austin Hooker tore his ACL. And then the 3 that we lost on Saturday. So, 5 quarterbacks. No, I've never been in that situation. But let me say this. I've also never been in a situation when we're playing with our quote-unquote 6th quarterback, and I feel good about it. So that's a sign, too, that we've got some good players in this program, and then Noah's a good player as well, our 7th guy. So, that's a blessing to have somebody to go to. Most programs, if they were in this situation, they'd be hanging flyers on campus trying to find a quarterback or asking somebody on the baseball team, can you come out and play quarterback? But we actually have somebody who I feel like is capable of winning football games for us. So, or we wouldn't assign them. We were just hoping that we didn't have to play either one of those freshmen this year. And now here we are in game 3, and we've had to play both of them. So we got to protect this one.
Yeah.
We're running out.
Yeah, let's talk about Nelson Lane, because as I was saying to you, he's a kid that comes from Highland Springs, who's had not only has a good program, but has had like really good quarterbacks come through Highland Springs. Talk about what Nelson brings to the table.
Yeah, that championship pedigree. Highland Springs is one of the better programs in the state of Virginia. and him being a part of that, he understands what it is to play for a winner and a champion. And so I think he has a skill set that is on par with probably anybody in our conference. He's one of the faster quarterbacks in the nation. That's on any level. And he's got a strong arm. We just got to make sure that he's ready to go fundamentally. And he's a good kid. He's a hard worker. He's not an extremely vocal guy right now. And that's something we're trying to work on, and that's something you have to develop. That's a trait that you have to develop in quarterbacks that a lot of people don't think about, is that leadership and that being a vocal guy. So we're working on that, but I'm excited about him. I think he has all the tools to be a really good player.
What's going to be the preparation for him? In other words, you're always taught as a quarterback, be ready, because anything could happen to the quarterback that's in front of you, and we've seen that happen. And maybe he hasn't gotten as many reps throughout the course of the season or in camp. So what does that kind of look like what's that going to look like for him this week?
It's just more reps. Coach McGee prepares all of our quarterbacks. They're sitting in on the installation meetings today. Today's their day off. They're in there with the offense and getting up to par on the install and what we're going to be practicing, the game plan, what we're trying to do. Now, the only thing that'll change for him is he'll get more reps with the ones during practice. He's been down on the scout team for the past 2 weeks working with them guys, but he was working hard, and so he got some quality reps. And probably that's probably a little better to get you prepared, because when you're on the scout team offense, they're not yelling as much, stay away from the quarterback and all that, so you get to play a little bit more than when you're down with the offense. If you get near the quarterback, scout team defense ain't getting nowhere near you, or I'm going to go crazy. Right. So, it's probably more of a game simulation type speed that you get by being a scout team quarterback. So now he's had some reps against our defense, and now we'll bring him down and get him ready. And I think we got to get the timing right with our receivers and our tight ends and our running backs, and get our offensive line used to his cadence and things of that nature. But we'll have them ready to go by Saturday. I think we got a really good offensive staff, and Coach McGee is going to be a star in this game. He's going to be a future head coach. Coach Ron Mattis is a great offensive line coach. Coach Poole's a great receiver coach. Coach Henry's doing a great job with our running backs and managing those guys. And Coach Proviance does a good job with our tight ends. So we got the staff and we got the players. Now we all, and I mean coaches and players, just have to rally around Nelson and make him feel comfortable and let him know you don't have to win this game. Just manage the game, get the ball to our playmakers, and we're behind you 100%.
Hampton, as mentioned, the next opponent. The Pirates had to come from behind to defeat Elizabeth City State. Your thoughts on, at least what you saw on film from that game?
Well, I'm telling the team and everybody, don't focus on that Elizabeth City game, because that's not the Hampton team we're going to see. Watch them versus Jackson State. And Jackson State is a really good football program, probably the top program in HBCU football right now. And they played Jackson really tough. Now, they came and played Elizabeth City, and it was a ball game, but we're not going to see that. We're not going to see that team. We're going to see a focused, hungry Hampton team, but they're going to see a focused, hungry A&T team as well. So it's going to be fun. They got the number one rush offense in the conference. We're not so good right now at rush defense, so I anticipate them trying to come in and run the ball down our throat. But I trust in same confidence I have in our offensive staff, have the same in our defensive staff with Coach Jones and Coach Cord, one of the best D-line coaches and brightest defensive minds in the country, and Coach McCray and Coach Lance. I feel like we got a great defensive staff, and we just got to get back to the basics and get these guys playing fundamentally sound, playing team football, and stopping the run. We got to get back to playing Blue Death defense, and I think we'll take that first step on Saturday.
Your thoughts on Hampton in terms, you mentioned them running the football, but their quarterbacks, in particular Isaiah Freeman, who a couple of years ago lit it up at Lincoln in the CIAA, and he put up some decent numbers in the win over Elizabeth City State. Your thoughts on their quarterback play, meaning the Pirates, and perhaps Freeman in particular?
Well, solid, solid. I know that their primary focus is to run the football. And I think the quarterback does a good job of managing the game. He has the ability to make the throws. Thing I'm worried about with him probably more than anything is him pulling the ball down and extending plays and using his feet. But he's a good quarterback. And we gotta do a good job of containing him and not letting him beat us with his feet.
Conversely, though, there's some opportunities, right? I mean, you mentioned the running back, meaning A&T's running backs. There's some opportunities to run the football against the Pirates.
Yeah, well, we got to be able to run the football against anybody that we play. And I feel like our offensive line has been improving steadily throughout the season. I look for them to continue to make that improvement. And we have 4 good running backs that we can count on. And also I think our receivers kind of go unnoticed sometimes when it comes to our running game. But in order for Blizz and those guys to make those long runs, those guys on the perimeter have to block. And we had Elijah Kennedy and Monty Jones, 2 little guys out there competing their butt off against Central Florida. So, I feel good about everything that's involved with the running game, the coaches, the players. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I think we'll be better than we've been all year on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I think we are excited too. Any last words?
I just want everybody to rally around Nelson and understand we don't need to put any extra pressure on him. We got to do a great job as a team. Football is a team sport. No one man wins or loses a game. It's a team. So we're going to rally around Nelson or Noah or whoever is our quarterback, and we're going to go out and we're going to get our first CAA win this Saturday.
Give it up. Sean Gibbs, the head football coach of the Aggies, joining us here on the Coaches Show. Up next, running back Shameik Blizzard and punter DJ Page. Welcome back to the Coaches Show with the head football coach of North Carolina A&T, Sean Gibbs. Of course, Coach Gibbs joined us in the last segment. Now we go to the student athletes, and first up we say hello to running back Shameik Blizzard. He's a junior from Chesapeake, going sort of going to be a homecoming, well, not a homecoming of sorts with Hampton coming. You're familiar with Hampton, having grown up, certainly in the 757. What's going on, Shameik?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing good.
Good. Your thoughts? That's a tough loss to UCF on Saturday. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was tough, but I understand we got a lot of football left, so we really just got to have a short-term memory and flush that down and just move on to next week.
For you, 11 carries, 75 yards. Take us through. You had a big 44-yard touchdown run. Can you kind of take us through that? What you saw there? That was what actually happened on that scoring drive.
So it was an inside run. So it was going to the left, and I cut it back to the right and broke 2 tackles and I scored. So yeah, that's how that went. Yeah,
no doubt about it. And then the 17-yard run. So that's the 17-yard one with the touchdown.
Yeah, that was
run.
a 17-yard
yeah.
run.
But take us. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the 44-yard run. That was I believe that was inside zone as well. So yeah, I broke that run, that long run. I wish I would have scored, but I ended up scoring. So yeah, that's all that mattered.
Yeah, and then you were the leading rusher last year. Can you kind of speak to, maybe some of the things you worked on in the off season to prepare for this season?
Really just all around everything, blocking, speed, my strength, just everything all around for real. Just being mentally prepared in every game. So yeah, I would say that.
What does it mean to be an Aggie? What does that mean to you?
To me, it means everything. I feel like we're the best in the world. We have a lot of pride. We take pride in everything. It don't matter what it is, whether it's sports. It could be anything. I just know, like, when it comes to Aggie pride, we take pride in everything. It don't matter what it is.
How much confidence does it give to you? Okay, you come into that game. It was a tough game, no doubt about it, against UCF. But from an individual perspective, and then coming into the Hampton game, knowing that you rushed for a touchdown in the game, knowing that you had the 44-yard touchdown run, that you averaged 6.8 yards per carry, that you rushed for 75 yards, all of those things, how does that help coming into this game against Hampton?
It's going to help some, but I feel like I'm definitely going to have to give a lot more this week because we got some guys down, but we're going to rally around the guys that's coming in. And, yeah, that's what I would say about that.
The running back room, and you heard Coach Gibbs, you know it, but you heard Coach Gibbs mention, I mean, it's phenomenal. Can you kind of speak to that room and you know, how you guys kind of feed off of each other?
Yeah, I feel like he said it, like we all bring something different. So I feel like that's like the main thing that makes us all great. We bring something different.
We're going to see you a little bit more. Well, I should ask it this way. Would you like to have more catches? Would you like to be more involved in the receiving game as a running back?
Honestly, as long as I'm getting the ball, I feel like I'm going to be able to make plays for my team, no matter if it's kick return, punt return, catching the ball. As long as I'm getting the ball and I'm just going touchdowns and helping my team, that's all that matters for me.
You've got good size. Can you kind of speak to how, you know, maybe how you've grown in terms of the pass blocking? Running backs are part of the pass blocking game on passing situations. Can you kind of speak to that?
I feel like pass blocking is a lot more important than actually running the ball because you got to protect the quarterback. You know, if you can't protect the quarterback, then you probably won't be in the game. So, yeah, that's what I say about that.
How have you grown in that? Have you maybe put more of an emphasis on that in practice in terms of blocking?
Yeah, definitely. Coach Henry, my running back coach, we definitely work on blocking every day. You know, pass blocking, run blocking on the edge, on the perimeter. So, yeah, that's what I say.
Tell us, you're a junior, as I mentioned, from Chesapeake, Virginia. Tell us how you ended up here at A&T.
This is actually my first scholarship offer. Coach Poole had came down. I was actually after a track practice. I had seen him after my track practice, and he had offered me. So yeah, that's how that went.
Okay. And so, did you have any other offers after that? And did you come for a visit?
Yeah, I did come. I actually came for Jiho, and I ended up leaving because like my parents wanted to leave, try to beat the traffic early. So I didn't even get to see when they came back and won. I was mad about that.
Okay. What was that? Campbell. It was Campbell.
Yeah, it was against Campbell.
Okay. And then what are you majoring in, and what do you hope to do with that when you're done with football?
My major is food nutritional science. I'm thinking about being a dietitian or a nutritionist.
And then let me ask you, last thought, Hampton. What are your initial thoughts on Hampton? Gave up quite a few yards.
Yeah.
You know, the last couple of weeks, actually. You know, your thoughts on Hampton defense and maybe some opportunities for you?
Yeah, like Coach Gibbs said, they give up a lot of rushing yards, so I feel like we're gonna capitalize on that. And also, they're the number one rush offense, so we're gonna have to start the run.
All right. Okay. Give it up for Shameik Blizzard, of course, running back for the Aggies. And again, want to remind you, this is a 7 o'clock game. We're at Truist Stadium. It's the first home game of the season for the Aggies against the Pirates. So come on out, support the Aggie football team. Now, this next gentleman that's joining us it's been with us before, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to tell you what, he's got 4 punts of 50-plus yards so far this season. Had 2 in the game against UCF. The 4 punts of 50-plus yards is tied for the lead in the CAA. DJ Page joining us again on the Coaches Show. What's going on, DJ?
Yes, sir. Doing good, doing good.
So for you, just take us, and I remember we had you on, matter of fact, had you last year because
yes,
you took over the starting job
yes, sir.
As the punter last year, maybe 2 or 3, couple of games into the season.
Yes, sir.
So just some of these punts, man, I mean, you know, these punts are in the air. When I'm talking about 50-plus yards, it's not okay. It hits the ground and it's rolling for 30 yards. These are punts that are in the air for that amount of distance. Can you kind of speak to that and what goes into that?
Yes, sir. I mean, first of all, punting is a lot of mental. So just keeping your head clear, but it's also, you know, I'm confident in the work that I put in. I put in a lot of work over the summer. I train with great coaches at home, and I work with Hammer Kicking Academy. I work with Shane McDonough, and you know, I'm working 3 times a week over the summer punting with him and training. And I still stay in contact with him and go over film and, you know, work on my technique. It's a lot about technique and, you know, just having great technique out there.
We talk about, you know, what's interesting. We talk about the punt, the actual kicking aspect of punting. We got to talk about catching. You got to catch the football first.
Yeah.
You don't have any problem doing that. That's not
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But like, especially in that kind of weather,
Yeah.
can you kind of speak to that, because that's part of the mental process? It seems like it's an easy, but that's part of it. You got to catch the football first.
Yeah, that's first step. So, it's a lot about, repetition. So if, I train for that too. It's catching whether I'd soak a football and catch it, or it's, training out in the rain. I mean, rain or shine, we're going to have to deal with that at some point. So it's all about repetition and training in that.
And then with that holding, that's part. I mean, look, you gotta catch the football. You gotta be able to place it.
Yeah.
Like that's a skill set. Is that something you did in high school? I'm assuming you were a holder in high school.
I actually was not in high school, because
Wow.
I was kicked. I kicked too in high school, but I with the kicking academy I work with, we do a lot of holding at the camps, holding for the kickers, making it live for them. So, when I get into these situations, it's the same thing.
I mean, that's something you gotta like to do, because it's a lot of pressure there,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Like, you can have a great field goal kicker, but if you don't have the holder, it doesn't. Like, what's the point?
Yes,
But I
sir.
mean, you've got, and I think what's even more interesting is that it's not something you had done previously.
Yes, sir.
So can you kind of speak to that and the confidence that you have in terms of being a holder?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's a lot of training. Andrew is quick to tell me when I miss a spot or do anything like that. But so it's, a lot of working with both my snappers, working with, I even did some of the jugs machines sometimes when I was at home or whatever. So, it's just a lot of consistent, catching and, being with that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Speak to you and working with Andrew, how you all are able to work together.
Yes, sir. I mean, we're ever since I got here, he took me under his wing, and he showed me the ways and showed me the ropes. So a lot of credit towards him. But he's a great guy, and it has showed me a lot and taught me a lot.
Like I asked Shameik, in terms of preparation off season, what are you squatting more in terms of getting the stronger leg? Like, what are you doing to kind of make it so you can kick punts longer distances?
Yeah, so a lot of flexibility, a lot of stretching and keeping the legs nice and warm and keeping them loose to be out there. But in the weight room, it's a lot of explosive movements, trying to be explosive to get through that ball, and be explosive.
I think when we think of punting, we think, okay, how far can you kick the ball? But if A&T's got the ball on the 40 or the 45, it's about placement.
Yes, sir.
At that point, and not kicking it into the end zone.
Yes,
So
sir.
can you speak to that? You had a ball that was placed inside. That's always a good thing. Matter of fact, that's a stat for punters. 50-plus yards, and then fair catches, and then also inside the 20. You've got a couple of those this year, but you had one in the game against UCF. I'm talking about inside the 20.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's a lot about, just where I'm going to place it. There's a different style of punt that I will do just to place it. And, that's something I can adjust to based off where we're at on the field, and, what the wind looks like and all the other factors.
Angles. Can you kind of speak to that? I think sometimes it's not, again, it's not just about how far you can kick it sometimes. It may be a dangerous return man. You've got to try to kick it away from him. Can you kind of speak to angles in terms of punting?
Yeah, direction is one of, if not the most important thing about punting. We have to, I'm always aiming to put it outside of the numbers, and, because that forces them. It's hard for them to catch it. I trust our guys. Our guys are going to be there, but I need to set them up the best way I can and put them, put the best direction on the ball as the best I can.
Matter of fact, correct myself, you had two punts that were inside the 20 against UCF. What sort of was the game plan? Was it a game plan situation from a punting perspective? Were you trying to, if when you needed to kick long, in other words, were you trying to kick it over the guy's head? Were you trying to kick it away? I think it was Brown. I can't remember the punt returner's name at this point, number 7. But anyway, what was the kind of the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, it's letting our guys get down there, having the ball up in the air to give them a chance to get down there and force that fair catch. So, it's I gotta have good direction. I have to have good distance, and I have to have good hang time. It's a lot about hang because once I get the guys down there, then I'm forcing a fair catch. So, just putting it down there, trying to flip the field for my team.
How are you growing as an Aggie, meaning totally, player, student, athlete, all of it?
Yeah, well, I prioritize my academics. I take a lot of pride in my major and my academics. My construction management degree is very important to me. I take that very seriously. But on the field, it's a lot about keeping myself mentally clear, being able to separate myself, and be able to perform the best of my abilities.
How did you end up here at A&T? From Florida?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I obviously, like I said, prioritize the academics, but I also came in here and saw the atmosphere, saw the support from all the fans, saw how everyone takes pride in football and takes pride in their academics, and I really like that, and that really caught my eye.
And then with the degree, once you get it, what are you hoping to do with that?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to I would like to work for a residential home builder. I want to be in the residential side of construction. I take a lot of pride in building people's dream homes, or helping people get into their homes and making that process easy for them, and making my job easy, but helping them out the best way that I can.
Do you, getting back kind of to football, coming into Hampton, do you study the returners? Is that something that you do, and then I guess you game plan from that point?
Yeah. We'll see, what they do, and how we can work around that. So yeah, we'll study the returners. We'll study what we can do to work around them. Yes, sir.
All right, give it up for punter and holder DJ Page joining us here on the Coaches Show. That's about going to wrap it up. We want to remind you it's a 7 o'clock game at Truist Stadium. The Aggies taking on the Hampton Pirates. If you're not able to come out to the game, you can check it out. Yours truly, Al Swan and Billy Covington. We're coming on with the pregame show beginning at 6:30 p.m. in the Triad, 103.5 FM, 1400 AM, Sirius XM channel 384, and around the world at TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com. Also, don't forget to join us on the Blue and Gold postgame show right after the game. We'll talk with you next week.